Okay, this is the last video for this section. It's kind of related to the other ones in that there's fractions involved, but it's kind of different too. They're just talking about multiple variable equations. All that means is you have one dependent variable and more than one independent variable. So it actually means that there's three or more variables, even though two or more seems like what they would mean. So the dependent variable here would be f. It depends on, it's written, and the only reason is because we solve for f here. It's solve for f, we consider that to be the dependent variable. And then these other things, yeah, we usually use these for constants, but we're just saying we're using them for variables here, okay? So they're just variables. Okay, so a plus b over c times d times 2, right? So I have 1, 2, 3, it's 4 variables. That's the multiple variables they're talking about. So these are 4 independent variables. Since I solve for f, see, you're thinking of it as I'm going to find a, b, c, and d, plug them in, and I'll get f. And if I have a different a, b, c, and d, I'll plug those in, I'll get a different f, etc. So the value of f depends on a, b, c, and d, so it's called a dependent variable. And these are all independent variables. So there's 4 of them, which is what they mean by multiple variable equation. They're talking about the independent variables. And all they do is they just ask you to solve for one of the other variables. And that means you're making that one the dependent variable, and you're making this one an independent variable. You're solving for A. At least that's the way we usually think of them, okay? So the first thing I did was I cross-multiplied. It's a proportion. It's a fraction equal to a fraction, right? F over 1. So I just took this here, and I just put it over there. As long as there's equals there, not plus, equals. Put that right there. That's all I did. Now I'm trying to solve for A. Well, I can take this term and move it to the left, and it changes from being plus to minus. And I'm done. That was easy. Okay? That's it. So they're going to have you solve for one of the other variables in an equation. That's all you really need to know from there. Okay, that's the end of that section.